All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jon Meling. With me on the stage is Andreas Eide.
Hello.
So how are you? Have you been enjoying Ignite so far? Yeah? Good? Awesome. So for the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about the Office 365 profile experiences. And we are super glad to be here with you. And we hope that you are excited to hear about what we have to say. And as you can hear, I'm not the native English speaker. And as soon as he starts talking, you will hear he's not either. So please bear with us on that. We are from Norway. We are from the FAST team. How many here have heard about the FAST team? OK. So just a short history then. We were acquired by Microsoft in 2008. We have been driving the SharePoint search for the last almost 10 years. In 2012, we started on a journey with a product called Delve. How many here have seen and heard about Delve? Awesome. Almost everyone. OK, we made that. So Andreas and I, we have actually a lot in common. We're born and raised almost in the same area in northern Norway, in a city called Tromsø. And Tromsø, I bet none of you have heard about that, or maybe some. I think one guy heard about it, but he used to be Microsoft, so he has met us before. Anyway, Tromsø is most known for its northern lights. And this is what keeps us awake during the cold winter nights, when there is a lot of darkness. But this actually helps. As you can see, Tromsø is all the way at the top here, that little circle. So if you draw a line over to the United States, you see it's all the way up in Alaska. And why, might you ask, is Microsoft having a development center all the way up there? So 5 years ago, Jeff Keeper said that these fast guys, they code like the Norwegians take medals at the Winter Olympics. But really, it's not that we're better coders than anyone else. We have a secret sauce. We have something that a lot of people don't have. We have snow. We have tons of snow. And just to give you an example, this picture is from 2007. It is almost 9 feet of snow. We had to dig our way out of our houses. Huh? No, unfortunately. Unfortunately not. But this year, the snow lay until late June. So we have a lot of time to code. We're stuck in our homes. But we still have to work together with other people. We have to work together inside of the FAST office. We have to work together with Microsofties all around the globe. So thankfully, Microsoft offers us the tools to do this job. And people working together is critical for the success of any company. So we share and co-author files. We talk on email. We talk on Teams. We have meetings, both in person and virtually on Teams. And sitting behind this wall of snow, we do that a lot during the winter. The most important point, though, is that at Microsoft, we want to contribute into making people more efficient and better equipped to do their job. And we want to do that by building amazing experiences. So in order to build these experiences, we need an intelligent system. A system that understands who we are, who we work with, and who we work on what we work on. So a system that removes all the noise that is, and provides us with a focus on the right information, on the right people, and on the right activities. So to this purpose, we have built an intelligent graph, the Microsoft graph, that utilizes machine learning to connect the dots across all these multiple endpoints that Office 365 consists of. So email, social, communication, all of this is things that the Microsoft graph looks at and picks up signals from. And this is to help us build smarter applications that proactively predict what is important and that is tailored to the individual and how the individual change. So the profile cards of the past did not have this layer of intelligence. And that is probably why they were quite dumb. They had static information. They were inconsistently delivering basic contact information. In other words, they did not help to the extent that they should. So they were most like a business card that you would just hand to someone. They would look at it, OK, contact information, OK. If I need to contact him, I can look at that card again. That was basically what they accomplished. Now, the first Office 365 experience to utilize the graph was Delve. And as most of you have heard about Delve. It's a people-centric experience where you can actually learn a lot about people. So we took a look at how people are using Delve, and we found that they search for content, they search for information about people by visiting their pages in Delve. So we thought that, hey, we could apply this to all these different workloads in a more ubiquitous way. So that is why we started to look at the profile cards. The profile cards is something that we want to be at your fingertips in every workload that you're in. So when we started to design the new people cards, the profile cards, we thought we should do really well on 3 different things. The first thing is contact. We should not regress the contact experience that the older cards already had. So an example of this will be that if Andreas sent me an email and I'm in OA looking at my email, and I see that he has asked a question, I might want to reply to him on using Skype or Teams. I can do that from right inside the card. We want basically all contact information available so that you can have many multiple channels to contact someone with. The second one is refind. This is one thing that we learned from Delve. If you're looking for information, you know that somebody has shared a file with you. You don't remember where the file is. You don't remember which email it was shared with. So people tend to go to Delve and visit someone's page, and then they would find it. So we want to bring this information also into the card so that you can easily refind context. And then the last one is contextualizing. Who is this person? At least me, and I bet this is the same for a lot of you, you have had meetings with people you don't know who are. So you meet them for the first time at the meeting. Is this something that is familiar to people? No one? Yeah? Someone? Okay, yeah. So what I do is I take the meeting invite, and with these profile cards, I can just hover over each person and familiarize myself with them so that I'm better equipped at going into that meeting. All right. So now that you have seen the cards, or sorry, heard about the cards, we'd like to show them to you. And I'm going to hand it over to Andreas to do that.
Thank you, Jon. OK, so we want to show you what these profile cards look like for real. And I'm going to start by demoing in Outlook on the web, in Outlook mobile, and Outlook desktop. So here you can see I'm in Outlook web. But I just want to start with a little story. Jon actually has moved to Redmond. He moved to Redmond this fall to work from the Microsoft Office here. So I sent him an email. He sent me an email to we could meet up to prepare for this session. In this email, he forgot to say which building on Microsoft campus he was working from. But fortunately, I could hover over him here in the email, bring up his card, and see directly from the card that he is now working out of Building 31 at the Microsoft campus. And this was good because at Monday I had a meeting at 9 a.m. at Building 32, which was pretty close. So this is the new profile cards that we're rolling out. This is Outlook on the web. If you're a first release customer, you should already see these new cards in Outlook web. And first release is a program you can sign up to get early access to new features. So looking at this card for Jon, I can actually learn more about Jon. I can see that he now reports to Peter Kelly. I can see his LinkedIn profile. I can see emails we have exchanged. And I can refine files Jon has shared with me or files that Jon is working on. I can also navigate to an expanded view of the card. So now we're looking at the hover card or click card. We can also go to the expanded view of the card by clicking any of the headings for the different panels. And this gives us more screen real estate to show more information. And this is Jon's LinkedIn profile, as you may have seen in the demo for Satya on Monday. So here I can also learn now that Jon is in Redmond. He actually moved here in August. And scrolling down, I can also learn more about Jon. I can see that he went to the Arctic University of Norway, which is properly named for its location. Scrolling down here, you can actually see, and now I'm clicking from the card over to LinkedIn. I can actually learn more about the university, and it's not dark and winter all the time. In the middle of the summer, you have a short period where it's green and light and midnight sun. So that's also a good time to visit. So coming back to the card, we will go through all of these panels throughout the session and explain where we get data to show on the card. I just wanted to mention one more thing. Looking at Jon's profile, I actually can notice that he has birthday on May 29, and so do I. Anyone else here with birthday happen to have birthday on May 29? No? But learning these kind of fun facts about someone can be an icebreaker when going into a meeting, for instance. Seeing that Jon is interested in martial arts. I didn't know that.
Me neither. Long time ago.
So actually, this is a demo account. It's not really his interests. But still, learning these things about someone can help you have a better conversation. OK, coming back to my Monday morning in Redmond, I had a meeting. I was going to send Jon a message that I wanted to. I will be with him in 15 minutes. So directly here from the card, I can start a chat with Jon. I can click the Start Chat button in context in the card. And since I'm in Outlook on the web, this launches Skype for Business in Outlook. Will be there in 15 minutes. And you got a message. OK, so this is the card for someone I work a lot with. We also work with people outside our company. And I actually received an email here from Jørgen Solberg. He is a friend of mine, and he works for a company called Decisions. And he's actually here at Ignite this week. So I can hover over Jørgen and see the card for him. So not only do we have cards for people in your company, we now also have cards for people outside your company. And I can go to the expanded view and see more information about Jørgen. I can see his contact information, and this is information that I have in my local contact for him. I have his phone number, I could have added his home address, and so on. I can also see files that Jørgen has shared with me. For instance, the Decisions datasheet for their product. They actually won an app award on Tuesday, so I think Jørgen is very happy. I can see emails we have exchanged. And I can also see his LinkedIn profile. And clearly, this is the right Jørgen, so I'll confirm the match. And now this match is stored, so next time I go to his card, I can actually see this directly in the card. And here I can see that Jørgen, he is now the CEO and founder of Decisions. He used to work for a company called Software Innovation. And he also went to the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. And I didn't know this before I prepared for this demo, but I also went to that university. So these kind of things is useful to learn about someone, and it helped me contextualize Jørgen even more. So that's Outlook Web. What about mobile? Let me also show you the mobile card. I just need to connect my phone here and project it to you. And start the program. Just stopped. OK, so here I am on my iPhone. I'm running a new build of Outlook Mobile. I can click on that. And here I see the same emails that I had in Outlook Web. I can triage my email as normal in Outlook Mobile. But I can also open the card for Jon. Go into the email, click on this picture, and now we see the same card with the same information also on Outlook Mobile. I can click into Jon's LinkedIn profile, and here I get the same information tailored to the screen size of the mobile. I can see his education. I can even click here to go over to the LinkedIn app on my device directly from Outlook Mobile. So now I'll see the full LinkedIn profile for Jon here directly on my LinkedIn app. Going back to Outlook Mobile and going into the card, I can also see here other information, emails like in the web card, files that Jon has shared with me or is working on. I can even open the file here directly from within Outlook Mobile. This launches PowerPoint view on my mobile. And this is actually our presentation for today. So you can get a sneak peek of the upcoming slides. So this is really useful. We have the same card now also on Outlook Mobile. OK, coming back to my Monday morning in Redmond. Actually, I ran late for the meeting. I was lost on campus. They've done refurbishing in Building 31. So I needed to send Jon a message that I would be late. So I can open his contact information here directly on the card. And since Jon has moved to the US, he's now got a US phone number, a mobile phone number. I didn't have that in my contact for him. But it was put into the directory, and I had it available here directly from the card. And I could click on the mobile phone number. and this launches the native choices to call him, to FaceTime him, or even send him a message. So I can say, hey, will be 5 minutes late. Okay, so that's using Outlook Mobile also to contact for the contact scenario with the same type of information. Finally, I want to show you Outlook Desktop. I assume many of you are using Outlook Desktop. It's my favorite tool, the tool I use most every day. So this is a fresh build, a dog food build we call it, of Outlook Desktop. Bear with me, it's still a bit rough at the edges. This is the first time we're sort of testing out the Outlook Desktop integration with LinkedIn. So here I can open the same email. I can open an email that Jon sent, actually. I can then hover over Dag, who's another colleague of us who had a presentation yesterday about LinkedIn integrations. And here I can learn more about Dag, and I can see his LinkedIn profile directly in the card. The same type of information shown also on desktop. So now we have the same profile cards on web, on mobile, and on desktop. Okay, we have seen demos. Now we want to dive a bit deeper and explain what is powering these cards. And I want to talk first about the architecture behind these cards. And basically, the architecture contains of two main elements. There are client-side elements and server-side elements. On the right-hand side, you see the client side. We integrate the cards into all these different clients or workloads, and they can run on desktop, they can run on mobile, and they can run on web. And when running on desktop and mobile, they also may talk to the local device to get data when you're offline, for instance. But when the card is online, it talks to what we call the profile card service. And this service contains all the business logic for the cards. It tells the client what panels to render, the order of the panels, and so on. And then the service calls Microsoft Graph to grab all the data that we show on the card. So Microsoft Graph gives us one single unified API to access all this data across Microsoft Office 365. You can access data from Azure Active Directory, from SharePoint, and from Exchange. A really nice way for us to build the profile card service. The profile card service also is distributed. It runs in Azure, in all Azure geographies, which means that we can have data close to the user and have excellent performance. And we also do caching in our service to even improve the performance further. And I want to spend a minute just talking about our caching strategy. So when you hover over someone, we can bring up the card either by hovering or clicking. And in particular, when hovering, it's very important that the card appears quickly, almost instantly. And to do that, to achieve that, we try to anticipate user behavior and prepare data even before you hover over someone. So even before you hover, they have gone and prepared contact data to show the card really, really quickly. Some data, like emails and files, we do not want to cache because that has more churn, and we want to show it with fresh read status, for instance. But directory data, contact data, org structure doesn't change that frequently, so we do cache it in our service, and we can render it very quickly in the card. So the latency is basically only the network round-trip latency from the client to our Azure data center and back again. So we can bring up the cards really quickly. Another thing I want to talk about that the card service does is that it provides context-aware cards. So cards adapt to the context they are shown in. And there are two main elements we're looking at in the context. First of all, we look at what we call the social distance between me and the person I'm looking at. And the second thing we look at is the workload that we're showing the card in. And based on this context, we adapt the panel ordering, what panels we show, and in some cases also what data we put into the panels. So the first thing I want to show you as an example of this is the Me card. So when I look at my own card, you don't show the chat buttons or the email button. They show an update profile button. And also, we don't show the org manager panel. We show it all the way at the bottom. We assume you know who your manager is. We still have the manager panel there because people like to navigate from their card to the manager card to refine the files that the manager has shared with them, for instance. Look at then the card for an external person. In this case, we don't have an org structure. We don't have access to that. But we have access to LinkedIn. So we put that all the way towards the top, right after contact. And this is an area where we want to innovate and improve going forward. We want to look at, for instance, if you bring up the card for a colleague you work a lot with, you have a lot of interaction with, versus if you interact with a colleague you have never worked with before. We want to adapt the panel ordering, and the data we present to the user to even meet the goals of our user jobs even better for the different types of contexts. Also, okay, so we also adapt to the workload. One example is in Outlook on the web. There we show an email panel, and we show attachments in the files panel. Contrast this with the card in SharePoint, where we do not show the email panel, and we only show files in SharePoint and OneDrive in the files panel. So we adapt to the context and change the behavior of the card. And these are discussions we're having. What is the right experience to present in SharePoint, for instance? So please give us feedback. Use user voice or other means to give us feedback on if we are making the right choices here. OK, speaking about SharePoint, and then I want to show you a quick demo as well of the card running in SharePoint. So now I'll go back to the browser. I'll open SharePoint. And now I'm in a SharePoint document library where we actually work together on presentations and documents for this conference. And here I see a number of people in modified by here. And I can actually then bring up the card for these people directly from within SharePoint. And there's two things I want to show you here. First of all is the performance of the card. This can be a bit hard to do when projecting, but I'll try. So when we hover over someone, if you just move the mouse over the screen, we don't bring up the card. We don't want to bring up the card if you accidentally move over someone. So you have to pause for an instant to bring up the card. But if I now hover over a dog and pause for a second, I'm hovering, I'm pausing, boom, the card is there with data. Wasn't that fast? We don't see it again. Hover, boom.
Wicked fast.
Wicked fast. So our company name was fast, and we tried to make wicked fast cards. The second thing I want to show you is context. When I hover over Jon now, I'm in SharePoint. I'm looking at this card, and if you pay attention now, you can see that I don't any longer have the email panel. And if I go to the files panel, we only show files from SharePoint. And here is there no email attachments in this view now in SharePoint. OK, I want also to show you the card in SharePoint Mobile. So now I need to go back here and project. So I'm mirroring my screen again over to my PC, so you can see it. Now I'll launch a dog food version of SharePoint Mobile. So here I'm in SharePoint. Actually, I need to go out. So here I can see news, links, sites. You can click into the site, and there you also find people. You can click on, open the people card or profile card from within the site. But here I also see the people I work with directly in the SharePoint mobile app. Here again, Jon is on top. I can click on him, and now we have the same profile card also in SharePoint Mobile. Same type of information, same type of data. That's basically the same card. Here, actually, in SharePoint Mobile, we do show emails and contrast that with SharePoint on the web. So this is a discussion we've had, but we just decided for now that it makes sense on mobile to also show email here in SharePoint Mobile. And I can actually click on the email. Let's click on the email I've shown you before from SharePoint Mobile. So I'm in SharePoint Mobile, clicking on the email, going over to Outlook Mobile, and I can actually reply to that email. So seamless navigation between apps from the card. OK.
All right. So now we have given you a good introduction to the cards. Now we want to look at each panel in particular and how they capture the multifaceted beasts we people are. So the profile card, as mentioned earlier, is built on top of the Microsoft Graph. And the Microsoft Graph then breaks down these silos and reduces the noise, so giving us access to specialized knowledge that used to be obfuscated by physical and organizational barriers. And as we have shown you in the previous demos, these cards are context-aware. They're wicked fast. And Andreas, if we did get something wrong, don't use user voice. Send him an email. It's a much better way to get hold of us. So on this slide, you can see all the panels we have built so far. And let's now dive into each of these. And we're going to show you using the card itself and talk about what we think are the hero actions, where we get the data from, and all the design choices we have made so far. So if you can change to the...
Yeah, let's bring up the browser.
OK, so now we are in the card. I'm going to open up. Move this a little bit. All right. Bring up the card again. OK. So as we said, this is the expanded profile view of a person. And in this case, it's me. I'm in Andreas's account. So I'm looking at myself, which is kind of strange. But the main user job here is for me to contact me. And as you can see, we have a lot of data on this card. The most important part is that we get this data from two different sources. We get it from Azure Active Directory, and we get it from your contact list. And Andreas already mentioned that we have a service in the middle that our cards talk to. And here we do this prefetch of data. And getting the data is the easy part. Once we have the data, we need to do something meaningful with it. One of the things that we do is, for instance, we dedupe all the phones. So if you have two phone numbers that are the same in both locations, we're not going to show it to you twice. We want to get rid of it so that we only show you one example of, or one instance of each. On the subject of contacts, as you can see here, one of the hero actions is edit contact here. So I'm already in Andreas's contacts. But if I wasn't, this would say add to contact. So it is a convenient way for a person to actually add someone as contact. And you can do this wherever the card is. We are also, anyone here tried the edit contact experience in OA, in the People Hub on web? Do people here do contact management at all? No? OK. We are trying to improve on that. So if you go to OA in a bit or through our cards, we want to make contact management super easy within this card. All right. So since the main user job here is to contact someone, we are bringing in the out of office or automatic replies from Outlook. So if you want to send me an email, it's basically saying I'm here at Ignite. I will not respond to email. And hopefully one of the other options, you can either call me or you can send me a text message, is a better way of getting hold of my attention than sending me email. So one of the things that we looked or learned by looking at what people were doing on here is they actually copy data. They copy contact information and put it somewhere else. We don't know where, but they do that. So we want to make that easier for you. Earlier, you had to drag and drop, and you have to mark, and then you had to copy. Now we just want to hover over something, and we have an easy way to put it in your clipboard. So you click on this one, and this phone number is now on your clipboard, and you can use it wherever you want to use it. OK, so let's move to the next section. And this is the About section. And this is the About section is where we start to cross these borders between boundaries or silos. So it used to be Exchange, and it used to be SharePoint. All of this data is from the user profile application in SharePoint. So this is the profile data you put in about yourself. So if you go to Delve, there is a profile page. There you can put in all your profile information. So how many have actually done that in this room? Wow. That's actually more than I expected. So we see that people don't tend to do that. And I think one of the reasons is the only place where you could actually see that data was in Delve. But now with these cards, these are profile cards. They're your profile throughout wherever you are in Office 365. So now we're giving you a good reason to actually keep that up to date and put in some meaningful information about yourself.
And note here, we are in Outlook. So you're bringing up the card from Outlook, but you're showing data from SharePoint, which adds more value to your data.
These are breaking down the barriers, as we have talked about earlier. This one is probably the hero application of the live profile card, the expanded view. This is an organization chart. So basically, it's two things. The top one is an organization chart where you can basically see every person in your direct chain of command to the top and all your directs. That is the basic view. And we allow you to navigate this by clicking around. And as you see, once you click on someone else, the entire experience changes and pivots around that person. So now I'm actually looking at Bonnie. And I can go to her contact information, her about information. And we provide you a way to get back to the previous view by clicking back. So this allows you to explore an organization and understand who someone is. I tend to use this a lot. In Microsoft, we do reorgs every 3 months or so, it feels like. So then I use this tool to go and find out where are my contacts actually now located. Are they still on the same team? No, they're not, obviously. Sometimes they moved to different things. But I like to keep track of people. I like to know who people are and where they're at in the organization. The second part, the bottom part, is the people of who I'm watching. Who are they actually working with? Who are they co-authoring documents with? And we take privacy super seriously. We're not going to show based on private email communication. So these are signals that we can actually show and provide a meaningful. So because people are more than just a dot in an organization chain, they're the sum of that and the people they work with. So we want to highlight and give you all of that information. So now we're going to look at the three last panels, and I'll let that. Oh, one more thing, super important thing. If you want the org chart to show up, there are some properties that you need to set in Azure Active Directory. So in the manager ID property, that needs to be there. Otherwise, we will not have the data to make that org chart. And it's a super useful tool. We have a tool in Microsoft called Dr. Who. And we have a close company or some Compass partners that they know about this and they want it. And they're super excited about this. So make sure that that property is filled in so that we can actually make this for you. OK.
OK, moving over to files. So files are a very important part of the profile card. And it's basically where we started with Delve as well. Delve was very much about refining and seeing files. And files can be useful to solve a number of user jobs, both to refine a file that I know Jonas shared with me, or refine a document I know he's working on. But also when I'm looking at the card for someone I don't know that well, I can actually look at their card and see what are they actually working on, what are their main responsibility by looking at what files they're working on. The files we show here are basically coming from two different sources. The first is the attachments. You can share a file as an attachment on an email. We show them in the card. And you can share an attachment actually in two different ways. The old-fashioned way where you copy the file onto the email so you get a copy, or what we call a modern attachment, where the attachment actually references a file living in the cloud. It can live in OneDrive for Business, in OneDrive Consumer, or even in third-party services such as Box, Dropbox, or even Facebook pictures. You can add a modern attachment referencing those external files, and they will show up in the card. The second set of files are files that are modified in SharePoint, in a OneDrive for Business, or in a document library in groups. So we will show you all these files. We will do as time sorting. We sort them based on the recency. So the newest shared or modified file will be on top. So there's no ranking here or dynamic trending ranking. We're simply sorting the files based on the timestamp. Of course, we preserve privacy. When I'm looking at Jon's files, I will not see private files. I will not see files that he's just opened. I will only see files he has shared with me and files he's working on. Emails, we basically on the email panel, we show emails that I have sent to Jon or he has sent to me. So it's basically the two-way communication between me and Jon that we show in the email panel. And all of this data before LinkedIn is coming from the Microsoft Graph. And the Microsoft Graph is basically what powers us and enables us to show this data. I want to show you quickly a slide of all the endpoints we're calling in Microsoft Graph. So these are the calls the profile card is doing to the Microsoft Graph to get data to show on the card. Photo is actually a bit special because very often you will have photo in the client even before you bring up the card. So what we do there is if the workload has a photo already, we do a callback to the workload and show the same picture because we don't want to risk showing inconsistent picture between before you hover and after you bring up the card. And if the card is shown in a workload that doesn't support photos, we will call the Microsoft Graph photo endpoint. To get data for the profile, we're calling the Microsoft Graph users/ID endpoint. And that gives us data from Azure Active Directory and also from the user profile application or the SharePoint profile. And I won't talk to all of these. You can look at them in the slide deck afterwards. But finally, I want to mention used and shared. So the files panel is built up by calling two different endpoints, used and shared. And we're basically aggregating or combining the results of those two API calls. Knowing about these endpoints can be useful both if you want to build similar functionality into your own applications or even for diagnostics. If you want to understand why something is showing up, you can actually call these endpoints and try them out. And there's a very convenient tool called the Microsoft Graph Explorer, which allows you to easily test and see the output in the browser by calling these endpoints. It's a very, very handy tool, and we use it a lot when we debug the cards as we are rolling out the new features.
So I think the key takeaway from this slide is that we're not doing anything that you can't do yourself. We're not using some secret sauce to create these experiences. These are basically public APIs that you can use yourself. So if you want to replicate or build something similar, do that. All the things are out there that you need to do to build the same experience we have. All right.
All right. So this was data from Office 365. The last addition, but not the least addition, to the profile cards are LinkedIn. And we were super happy to see the profile card with LinkedIn demoed so prominently in Satya's keynote on Monday. So the profile card service is making a call over to LinkedIn to get data to show in the LinkedIn panel. And basically on the header, are we not showing the slide?
No, yeah, we're showing it live. You can show the slide.
Back.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. So for LinkedIn, we're calling LinkedIn, and we're getting name, we're getting the degree of connection, the headline, and the location to show, and the connection code to show in the header of the card. So when you have matched LinkedIn profile, when you are in the LinkedIn panel, the LinkedIn header takes over the card for that panel. And we also show in the rest of the card, we show the last 3 experiences and the last 2 educations. And there's more to come. Soon we will also show mutual connections. If you paid close attention in the Outlook desktop demo, we're actually already showing that. And there's even more to come here. We expect to innovate quite a lot on the LinkedIn side with the profile cards. Of course, with anything we do, privacy and security is important, and keeping admins and users in control. So you as an admin, you can choose if you want the LinkedIn integration to be available for your users. There's a setting in the Azure Active Directory Admin Center that allows you to toggle on or off the LinkedIn integration. And by default, this is on, but you can go there and turn it off if you don't want this functionality enabled for your user yet, or for whatever reason you don't want users to have this LinkedIn integration. End users are also in control. So first of all, an end user chooses whether they want to connect their enterprise account to their LinkedIn account. So that's a dialog that comes up when you bring up the card. You can choose to connect your Office 365 account to your LinkedIn account. And the session yesterday went into more details about this. So if you want to know more about how that works, you can go to watch the recording from the session yesterday. On the LinkedIn side, users are also in full control over their data. So they can choose which properties are visible to anyone and which properties are only visible to their connections. And the card fully respects all the privacy settings in LinkedIn. So it only shows information that you have chosen to make visible to others. When we are matching the Microsoft graph with the LinkedIn graph, basically we are taking data from the directory and from contact to find the matching profile on the LinkedIn side. And right now, in the functionality that starts rolling out to first release customers very soon, we're basically looking at the display name and the company name of the user to find the corresponding user on LinkedIn. So that means that if you really want to have good matching, you should set company name to make sure that the matching is good. And this is an area where we expect to also improve our matching technology going forward as we get feedback from users, as we see actually how this behaves when more users start using it and matching LinkedIn profiles. And when you do a match, the match is actually only stored for yourself. So if I matched Jon, that match is stored for me. So if someone else was looking at Jon's card, they will have to do the same match themselves.
All right, so we have 5 minutes left, so we should soon open for questions.
Yes, should we just quickly talk about this?
Yeah, just.
Okay, we have talked about profile cards for people. There's also profile cards for other types of entities. For instance, groups. So if you are on first release in Outlook Web, you already see the new profile cards also for Outlook groups and for distribution lists. The same type of card also for these entities. And there's more coming. The group card is coming to SharePoint. There will be a Yammer and team group cards. And also, if you hover over a meeting room or a location, we'll have a location card built on the same framework, built on the same architecture, and allowing seamless navigation. So for instance, if you bring up a group card, you can click on member, and that will navigate to the member card for that person card for that member. So all these cards for all these different types of entities will have the same architecture and the same type of experience. And if you are using Outlook.com for consumers, the new profile cards are actually also available there in the Outlook.com new beta that you can opt into for consumer.
All right, so this is the roadmap for the profile card for people. We are already rolled out to OneDrive and SharePoint worldwide, SharePoint Home and SharePoint Mobile. We are now rolling out to Outlook, Outlook Web, and Consumer, Outlook.com. So I'm just going to leave that here if you want to look at it. But I think we should basically open up for questions since we only had 4.5 minutes left. But do please give us some feedback and evaluate the session. And we should leave with this slide. So profile cards will be everywhere. We will show data, as you see, from all these different workloads, thanks to the Microsoft Graph. Wherever you see a face, expect to see a profile card. Yeah, it breaks down silos, and it's wicked fast. Thank you.
OK, questions?
I have a quick question about extensibility in profile cards. You guys thinking about that? Different control over what properties show? So some customers have, we work with a lot of customers who have like employee ID, for example, and they want to store that in Azure AD with an extended property or something and be able to add and customize that in the views across search as well as in contact cards and things. You guys thinking through scenarios like that?
We are thinking about it. It's on the roadmap. I don't have a good story to tell you quite now, so we have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, we'd love custom panels, the ability to choose which attributes show up and so forth.
Right.
And
So
custom rendering of attributes as well would be great.
Yeah, there's a number of different scenarios for accessibility, and we're looking into them, and we have accessibility on the roadmap, so we can talk afterwards.
But we can
to get more feedback.
Let's sync up afterwards.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey.
I think that was kind of along the lines of my question. So my
Okay.
organization right now is we're extending the user profile with some custom data that's on-prem. We know we can show that in the Delve profile, but everyone's asking how do we get it into the profile card?
Right.
So I think that was along the same lines.
Right, but so you're showing it in the Delve profile.
Yeah, we know, and we have that ability, and that's easy to do.
Right, as custom properties in the UPA, or
custom properties, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So that we do have on the roadmap. That is something we bring along. So whatever you see in Delve, we plan to show also in here.
Okay. So although there's a possibility, I guess, of creating something custom to show it on the profile card, if it's on the roadmap, we don't want to start doing that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have any specific dates to share at this time, but
we're looking at it.
we are hearing this feedback a lot.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I came in a few minutes late, so you may have addressed this. So is the profile card in addition to your contact card, or is it replacing the contact card?
So when you say the contact card, which contact card are you talking about?
The contacts and your people, like you have your contact.
Yeah, so if you go to Outlook
Right, your
Mobile.
Outlook, right, or
Yeah.
Outlook the client.
Yeah, so yes, so we are, you can think about it, it will eventually replace the contact card. It will
Okay,
be an aggregation of contact data and directory data.
Okay, so my question is, so we have about 800 people in our organization that use X.509 certificates. And so I don't know if you're familiar with that, but as of now, we store the certificate in the customer's contacts. Are you familiar with that? So we're that's going to be a big issue for us.
Yeah.
So we need to see how that's going to work in this profile
As
card.
Jon said, we have a dedicated team working on content management, so I think it would be useful to get that feedback to that team.
Which team is that?
We have a team in our part of the organization working on content management. So I think we can have a conversation understanding your scenario.
I would really like to understand that scenario. Could you write an email to me with that? I'll give you my alias.
Does anybody else in here use the certificates in their organization? No? Wow. Okay.
Any other questions?
I have one about the caching. So
Yep.
one of the things that we notice in customers around, with Delve especially, is photos not showing up in the right place at the right time. And it's got something to do with timer jobs and caching and all this sort of stuff, right? So on the little architecture slide you had cache. Is there any detail you can give us around what those caching strategies are, and it's super frustrating when somebody uploads their photo and it doesn't show in all the places all at once.
Yeah.
We're not caching photos, though.
Yeah, for the card, we're not caching photos at all. We're basically using the same card, partly to avoid the problem you're talking about, that we show inconsistent cards. We don't want to make matters worse.
Gotcha.
So we're showing the same card that we already have in the workload. And there are different syncs going on from AD to Exchange and to SharePoint. So there are plans on sort of consolidating that and making that story even more easily manageable and making sure the photos show up more quickly.
Gotcha.
But from the card perspective, we're basically reusing the photo that you already have.
You're just pulling it straight from Graph and not caching it again.
Yeah, we're not caching photos.
One of the things we have done, and we will roll out soon, is we have created a new photo control in Delve. Basically, it allows you, and as part of that, we have talked to everyone, or like the bigger workloads, who uses a photo, and SharePoint in particular syncs photo from Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now reaching an agreement that the photo should be mastered in Exchange, and the applications themselves should pull from Exchange, instead of doing this syncing, because then you have this propagation time and two different pictures in two different workloads. It really does not come out as a suite of products. It comes out as distinctive products living in their own silos. So we want to move away from that. And photo is probably the most important part of that. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, sure.
Is it possible to enable graph without displaying the documents, last access documents?
Without. So do you mean?
We want to enable graph, but we don't want to display the documents on the Delve page. Is that possible?
No, not yet. No.
So what do you want? If you want to disable graph, but what do you want to enable graph but disable files?
Not the photos, the documents.
So,
the
yeah.
last access
What do you want to
documents.
keep? Which parts of the graph?
The rest is fine. We just don't want to display the last access documents.
Okay.
Access documents. So access documents is only visible to the user who accesses the document.
That's
We're
correct.
never showing. If you access the document, we're never showing it to someone else.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So but you don't want to see your own access documents?
I'm just afraid that my users will be paranoid
Yeah.
about this.
So because they see it on their own page, they are perceiving that someone else can see it.
Yes.
So the same like a search problem where you search for something and you find it and maybe someone else can see it. Yeah.
We want to be able to work with Graph,
Yeah.
the API. So is that
Yeah.
possible or not?
Right. So opting out of Delve would be one option, right? You will still get it through the cards, and maybe it feels like it's more siloed when you look at somebody's card. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. We don't have that capability now. So to disable just that one field.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the card that you just showed
Yeah.
work only if you enable Graph, correct? At the tenant level.
No, that card works independently of whether you enable
Yes.
the graph or not.
Independently,
Yes.
Yes, and we don't show in the card. We don't show documents you open. We only show modified documents. So
But the
that
last
way,
access-
we never show in the card. We never show access document. We only show documents you modify.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a difference between the card and Delve in that respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just building upon the question that gentleman asked, if we disable document showing up on Delve completely, will it also disable documents showing up on the cards?
No. So if you disable the graph at the tenant level or user level, it will still show up in the card but the card does not use, for instance, the trending document that Delve has. So Delve has this. You can discover documents based on activity, basically, and that will that the API. If you disable graph, that API will no longer work. But you can still access documents that are shared or modified, even if you disable the graph.
So in Delve, you have two pivots. You have the home screen where you have all the documents that are listed that are basically there because people around you are working on those documents. And then if you go into a specific person, I go and look at Andreas's page, I will see the document that is trending around him. That is sort of only this closed loop around him and what those people are working on. And then I see the documents that he has actually authoring himself. So there's three different pivots to the files thing in Delve.
One last question. So as we saw that you guys are pulling information like phones and some basic information. I think this is being pulled from Azure Active Directory.
Yes.
But SharePoint also gives the opportunity to end users to change it if they want to. So if, let's say, for instance, we have a phone number that comes from Azure Active Directory and then there's a phone that comes from SharePoint and they're two different numbers, which one would you prioritize? I know, I don't know if
they're
graph,
different, we would show both.
even if they are the same property, like home phone or work
Right.
phone, you'll show both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that's the correct thing to do, or how should we prioritize in that case?
That's my whole
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
because like if you're showing both, then there's too much information on one card.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. So the small card, the one we showed earlier, where you don't have the expanded view, that we have set aside 2 phone numbers. We can show at max 2 phone numbers.
but which one will it be?
Right. So that's a good question. So right now we are prioritizing.
Mobile.
I think it's mobile
And business?
over home. So mobile and business, and
What's
that
the source? Is it Azure Active Directory or is it SharePoint?
It's
No.
the Active Directory
that should
for those 2 phone numbers, yeah.
and then contacts.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Thank you.
Okay. Feel free to come up to us afterward the session as well if you have additional questions. Thank you very much.